Hey everybody, Cleansed here, and the video is coming up shortly, but I wanted to explain one thing before we got into that. Basically, this is the first time I've ever gone through this sort of filter. I've just never thought of having to go through these because they're just another sort of filter that really doesn't do anything. It's very useless, and I wanted to prove a point by making this video as the first time of me ever going through this filter, and how actually easy it is and how it really takes not very much thinking and not very much extra time, especially if you plan it out ahead. Like, imagine me, I got through them pretty quickly, and this is the first time I've ever gone through them, so just keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on Saturday when I upload again. So right now I've just got a regular 230 over here. Obviously these would be on someone's walls way back there, but the range doesn't really matter in this case. So down there we've got a slab, which means I'm gonna have to delay my slab bust because to actually hit this, so as you can see, if I line myself up, you can do this just with chords too. If you line yourself up, I can see the TNT, the hammer TNT is just gonna hit that back there, and the sand, because my legs would be where the sand is, those will hit right there. And you can also do that with chords. If you're raiding and you have an alt at the walls, you check your barrel height chords and then you check where it's gonna hit. So we know our sand's gonna hit this, and our TNT will most likely go through. Now if you're going at a little longer range, it might drop, but in this case it might drop enough where it'll actually hit this. But in this case, we're just gonna lower the barrel, and most likely it wouldn't drop that much. It really depends on the server. I've seen some weird stuff with Psycho TNT drops really weirdly. I don't know if that's fixed. Anyways, so all I did there was add a slab guider to the hammer, so now the TNT is slightly lower, and as you can see, if you imagine my head as a full block of TNT coming out of the cannon at this height, because when the hammer TNT gets pushed out and when the power hits it, it goes up and straight out, and it should hit that right there. Now for the slab, because we have a half a block difference between the hammer and sand and slab bust, that means we have to delay our slab bust. It won't one-shot slab bust. It might at the height I'm at, and because I'm using 230 at like Y100, just because I didn't build it up higher. But if I was all the way up at 230, I would delay my slab bust a little bit. Most likely turn my scatter off just to save TNT, although this cannon's kind of hard to turn off. So that's off, and I should have just broke one of those repeaters. And I'm gonna fire again. Remember, this is just a slab bust, so all we want to see is our hammer shoot. Yeah, so that worked. So now we can turn off our slab bust, return it to its regular ticks, unless there's more slabs in these filters. In this case there's not. So now we're gonna want to reconnect our sand because we need to stack. Obviously you really don't have to go through all those steps if you're slab busting, but I like to save TNT, and especially if I know where to disconnect stuff, then I might as well do it. Alrighty guys, so now that we know our slab bust works, that means this guider right here actually got us through the slabs. Now if your cannon was, say, a little bit lower down or a little bit higher, all you have to really do, as I said earlier, is just check where it's hitting. And you might even want to do this before you raid. You might even want to look where your cannon is lining up based on the filters, and on a test server, basically just make sure you can get through those easily. But I'd say the easiest thing to do is just raid all the walls, and when you get to the filters, use an alt at the walls, and obviously you at the cannon, get up next to it, check the head height of it, then get the head height of your barrel, which you should know before the raid. It's just good knowledge to know, to check for clipping and stuff like that. And then when you know your barrel height and everything, you'll know what's hitting what, so you can adjust your barrel based on that. So basically all I did was add the slabs here, and now both the hammer and sand hit the same block, and that's why it's slab bust. So now we can stack because we know both the hammer and sand hit the same block. So here we go, I reconnected everything. Okay, my sand didn't load in there. So yeah, as you can see, we busted that in one shot. Obviously, if we were using this cannon up higher, because it's only a 230, it would, of course, awkward stack, which means we don't have enough hammer because of, well, we don't have enough hammer to stack fully. But basically, all you'd have to do is stack twice. So that's because we changed our sand and hammer differential. So really the best differential, most efficient differential, actually I haven't looked into that, but what I know is if this is a one block differential, everything will work perfect because that's how regular 230s are set up, like that. But now that we've changed this, basically we have less hammer power because there's less differential. So like it's like half hammer power pretty much. And that means you'll get half the sand stacking power. But that's fine if you're up higher, you just have to shoot twice. So now we're on the next set of filters, and we're going to check our barrel height again, because I forgot. 107. And make sure not to mess this up. If you're swimming at the top, see how it's 108.2? That's because your head's like in the next block. But really your barrel height's 107, so try and go in the middle of the block, and then of course your sand height, if your guider's regular, is one block lower. So we're just gonna go out, and now we can see again our sand is hitting. So I guess if you're going through these type of filters, this is gonna be a pretty regular pattern where your sand's hitting and wait, I think I messed it up. Yeah, so our hammer's missing and our sand's hitting. So all that means is, and make sure you don't ever go low enough where your top is clipping. So for this type, by the way guys, this is, I know I'm rambling on a little bit, but this type of filter, there's 2 blocks in between each of these, all of them obviously, and they're just staggered. And I'm pretty sure that that's the way to make them. You guys can tell me down below, but that's how I've seen them made, and I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but this is how I've been seeing them made on the Archon. So yeah, that's the way to make them, and basically it looks like all you have to do is just, for the first one, well, depending on where your cannon is, just a slab guider here, and then for the next one, we just need to lower it by another slab. And you guys can use trapdoors or whatever, but so the hammer should hit and the sand should hit down lower. So we're gonna try that out. So yeah, as you can see, us lowering it right there just by half a block worked. So now for the next one, I'm pretty sure, oh, that's odd, there's that block left. So this is actually hitting, this was hitting, my bad guys, and this wasn't. There we go, that'll work right there. Barrel so that both the sand and hammer hit the right block. So as you can see right there, that worked perfectly, and now we're on to the next set of filters. Okay, so now you guys can see that actually our TNT, so our hammer TNT is going to hit that there, and that means, well, that's actually a pretty big problem, because how the hell are we going to get our sand to hit that, right? So this is really when you need a very adjustable cannon, because for something like this, we would need to remove all that and change this height here actually, which is going to be hard for us because we've got all this crap here. So I don't have the perfect cannon for this, and if you want to go under this, which I would probably recommend instead of removing all this, or which I wouldn't recommend because lowering the barrel completely isn't very good, but if you want to go quickly through this, you just lower everything by 1 in this sort of cannon. So that means this guider back here, and then this guider all along here, and then you'd be able to just go right under that. But I'm just going to show you guys how to bust through this, just in case you're lining up perfectly to something at the base. See, what the problem is, I'm breaking redstone here. We should be fine with that. Although, if you don't have the dispenser powered, that's what we headed down here. So that'd power this dispenser. If we want to remove anything that's not powered, and this one too. So yeah, just remove anything that's not powered in your slab bust or your hammer, because that'll take off separately most of the time. So now we've got our sand going through here, going up here, and we need to remove this as well. So now we have a whole different guider. Oh my. Now it's hitting that. So really we want a slab guider for our hammer. And you don't need it along that whole area. In fact, that's just a waste of time. 2 always works for me. You can even do 1, but it kind of depends on how much power you have. And then there's a half block difference there. Our sand should hit that. We'll try it. Might have to change our guider for our sand to Trapdoor or something. So as you can see, this cannon's pretty much mutilated a little bit, but it should work. Yeah, there you go, it worked perfect. It's just not loading in very well. It's odd. But yeah, that's how you get through any sort of filter really, but this is just based on these new trapdoor slab filters that I've been seeing. They're not as hard as they look, guys. They're pretty easy. That's all I got for you, so thanks for watching and goodbye. Oh, and by the way, I released this exact cannon in a video previous to this. I'll put that link down in the description if you want to download this exact cannon.